Hello everybody, welcome to the NOLAnerdcast E3 recap. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And we're here to talk to you about games, and games that did not show, and games that probably shouldn't have been there, and things revolving around games, and things involving games at E3.
The long and short is E3.
2014. 2014.
You're going to get punched again.
Oh, so much punching right in the diaphragm. Alright, so, E3, it happened. Is technically the final day today, but it's all show stuff. Everyone's just playing the games that have been announced. We're here to discuss the news that happened in Day 0 and Day 1, the major press conferences, and the fallout thereof. And if you're familiar with our really terribly produced YouTube shows, it's usually just us talking about stuff. And then if you're used to our much better produced Comic-Con coverage, it looks fancy. We're hoping it's going to be the latter here. We don't know what we're doing, but we're just going to jump right in. We're going to treat it like a Sports Center or a news show. We're going to have segments, then we're going to have a timer on those segments, and we're just going to spitball our thoughts on each segment. Sound good? Sounds good. Let's start with number one, or segment number one, where we're going to be discussing the E3 conferences, and we have very in-depth coverage that we did on our audio podcast, which you can find on YouTube or NOLAnerdcast.com. Yeah, not at YouTube. iTunes, NOLAnerdcast.com. You can find the links on our Twitter or Facebook at NOLAnerdcast/NOLAnerdcast. They're going to be up, and each one covers a different conference in depth. So we're just going to talk about a different topic of each conference. Topic 1.
Start the timer.
Starting the time. Now I have to introduce it first.
No, to make it part of the introduction.
So we're going to talk about Microsoft's conference in a segment I like to call How to Reverse Your Fortune in 365 Days. And timer. So, Microsoft came in and was just riding a wave of good fortune on the Phil Spencer hype train and delivered on its promise of games, games, games. And we got 90 minutes of nothing but games. They didn't waste time about sales, probably because they didn't want to. They didn't waste time on apps or features or programs. It was just, here's a game, here's a game, here's a game, here's a game. The downside being every single game was leaked early. There was not a single surprise title in that was not an indie game. But what we're going to talk about is just how they reversed from last year and how many of their exclusive games, they got a lot of announcements, but when you look back, was there a lot to show?
Well, yes. Yes and no, I think. They did show nothing but games. They showed a lot of CG trailers, but very few actual gameplay things. Sunset Overdrive was arguably the game of the show, and it didn't look like it had a lot of actual gameplay. It looked like more CG.
Well, I don't know. They had that good couple minutes of solid gameplay. We don't know if it was live or not, but It was pure gameplay. I don't count that as one of the not ready, because that is the next major game coming out for Xbox. And I'd hope it had stuff to show because it was announced last year. And unlike another conference, turns out a year's worth of work doesn't mean much. But the games that they did show that did have gameplay from Microsoft, to be fair, the Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, we got, I guess, an in-game trailer for Forza. It was no real demo or anything. There was a lot. All the third-party games had demos. Witcher 3, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare. Evolve had a short trailer, but it didn't really have anything. Fable Legends was probably the most true gameplay-esque of the reveals.
Yeah, it was Fable Legends, and Fable has such ill will towards it nowadays.
Division had a really nice one.
Division did.
Now, but the big ones, the ones that people were excited about that did not have CG, did not have gameplay, was Project Spark, Crackdown, Scalebound, the Halo Collection. And we're out of time, so let's wrap it up. Phantom Dust. They showed a lot of indies, though. The point is, and it's a running theme that outside of Sunset Overdrive, the main thrust of these next gen consoles is going to be 2015.
Yeah, that's pretty much E3 in a nutshell.
Yeah. But kudos to them for completely reversing last year and giving us what we asked for, games.
Absolutely, tons of games.
The next segment is going to be EA's segment, in a segment we like to call Don't Show, Just Tell, because that's what they did. And start. You like that name? I know you like that name.
That's actually the one I like the most. That's the most terrible conference I've ever seen in my life.
It was hot, steaming garbage. Hands down, in our many, many years of sitting down as gamers and watching these conferences with gusto. Even EA, a company that half their conference is always spent on sports games and casual games that we don't care about, it's always balanced out by the games we do care about. And this year, we got nothing.
Nope.
It was garbage. They didn't even have the spectacle behind it. There was not one athlete trotted out to try and pretend that he cares about what he's talking about.
EA's conference this year was, we got this great idea, and
eventually
we started it.
We'll have something to show. All right, it got so bad. We last year they showed Star Wars Battlefront 3 and Mirror's Edge 2. But unlike Microsoft with Sunset Overdrive and other games that they revealed in a CG trailer, this year they had something to show for it. EA went back to the drawing board. They're like, hey, Mirror's Edge 2 and Star Wars Battlefront, we've got them. We literally have nothing to show you for it. Here's a bunch of developers talking about why the game will eventually be good.
Yep.
We got behind-the-scenes talk instead of a game reveal. And then they even got so bad that they announced a new game, like, here's the new Mass Effect. Oh, we don't have anything to show you or any information about it. So here's more developers talking about the game.
Hey, you remember that one time I drew a picture of a guy looking at a star map? That's concept art for Mass Effect whatever.
It's not even concept art, it's conceptual ideas.
We watched the EA team go on a field trip to the museum to take pictures of Star Wars stuff.
It was alright, and then it culminated in the most egregious offense. Egregious. What did I say?
Egregious. It's not even a thing.
I was thinking Star Wars General Grievous. I don't even know.
That's terrible.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
They got the Criterion team, the guys behind Need for Speed and Burnout, and they said, hey guys, we have a new game coming out. In theory. There is no name for it. There is no concept for it. There is no footage. Just they said, we're really impressed by what people have done with GoPro cameras. The first person action footage of doing extreme sports. It's really cool. We want to make a game about that. That is not what you show at a conference.
But the thing is, if this is what they showed at E3, they must have nothing.
Yeah,
literally
E3 is when
nothing.
you're supposed to get people hyped and your investors hyped. And you come out and say, there is no name, there is no concept footage, there's not even concept art, we have an idea.
There's pre-alpha modeling.
It's like if Miyamoto came out and said, I created Pikmin because I was in my garden one day and thought, wouldn't it be cool if some of these plants were alive? Which is the real idea, but if that's all he had come out and shown.
Yeah.
It was, hey, good news. That's literally all there was to talk about.
E3 sucks. EA sucks.
EA at E3 sucked. The only game they showed of note was Dragon Age Inquisition gameplay.
And we saw that at literally every other conference.
One of Chris's favorite games was shown at it, but we'll save that for later.
Yeah.
After that, we had Ubisoft, which as the third major party was the opposite of EA. It had nothing but games to show, every game having actual footage. I don't think there was a single CG trailer shown at Ubisoft. It was all in-game. No, there were CG trailers, but then they were followed with game.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start the clock on what we like to call the Aisha Tyler three-peat, because she hosted it for the third time and killed it for the third time.
She's still really good.
She's a really good host for that, and it's because she gets really interested in it. But, so Ubisoft had just games. Far Cry 4, we didn't get gameplay, but we got in-game introduction to the villain and the story.
Very similar to last E3 when they introduced Vaz for the first time.
And because there was another conference later in the day that was going to show the gameplay, so it kind of balances out.
Mm-hmm.
Just like The Division, we got a really depressing story trailer because we had already seen gameplay.
Yeah.
And with Assassin's Creed, at Xbox, they debuted the 4-player co-op aspect, so here we got one of their yearly annual badass CG trailers, but then they jumped right into how it all works. We got an actual gameplay. And then, we We got Chris's favorite game, The Crew. They showed that. That was always good. No? What'd you think of the reveal at the end? Their Watch Dogs Division 3rd major reveal.
Rainbow Six looked amazing. Rainbow Six Siege. Basically your typical cops and robbers setup, the way the new Battlefield is going to be.
Battlefield Hardline.
But it's more squad based. 4v4, one life.
5v5, son.
Was it 5v5?
It was.
It looked 4-on-4. Regardless, small teams, one death. It looked
1 kill, 1 death.
It looked amazing.
Yeah, I mean, with the fully destructible environments,
especially when you bring in the Tom Clancy squad gadgets. You know, the tiny drone, the satchel charges that they create.
The pre-match like scouting and planning with your team.
Everything about it looked really hype.
I don't think it was as big a huge reveal as the Division and the Watch Dogs before it.
It's so similar to
Battlefield Hardline. But it was so well presented and it demoed so well, and the fact it was all in-game footage they captured an actual multiplayer match between the devs.
It demoed really well.
And it demoed really nicely. There was a few missteps, but in the sense that it wasn't stuff we cared about, like EA with their sports games. The Fitness Connect game for Xbox called Shape Up and the yearly Just Dance game, that's never going to get us hyped, but we understand why they have to be there.
I blocked all of that out.
It is what it is.
It's
the fact is, the games that they did show were demoed well. There was not a single flop among the games that were targeted to us, and Ubisoft did a really good job. Since then, they've had really bad PR with the Assassin's Creed. We were gonna have a female character, but then it was too hard, so we scrapped her. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sucks for them.
That's just kind of ongoing battle with equality that people are fighting for in games, and Ubisoft just they had a really strong thing, and then they kind of shot themselves in the foot on that one. Now it's just PR back talk, and there we go. So let's jump into the next segment, the Sony segment, talking about Sony's press conference or how to kill momentum while wearing a sharp suit.
Stab it straight in the heart.
Oh, Sean Yon Layden. Oh.
The new CEO of Sony of America.
The anti-Jack Tretton. He's Sony's Don Matrick.
He's a suit. He's a big, boring suit that makes Bill Clinton hand gestures when he speaks.
He came up like he was doing a business PowerPoint presentation. A lot of this. We have a lot of good stuff to show here.
I will give him a pass only in that this is his first E3. I'm sure when he's used to corporate conferences, he's used to more decorum,
right?
As opposed to the no decorum that E3
at the same time, you can't be that bad. You come out, especially riding the wave that you've been riding the past year, the huge Sony success momentum garnered by last year's E3, and you couldn't prep them and be like, don't be boring.
That's really hard to do, as we've shown on this show.
Man.
You can't just tell someone, don't be bad at this thing you don't do.
Do a practice run and have some feedback. That was really dry.
Who's going to be there for? Employees? They're going to be like, yeah, that was great.
Other guys, Andrew House. Who's in the house? Andrew House. All right, but the problem is that Sony's conference started off so strong, and when you actually look back and break down the numbers, they revealed more games and had more games shown at their conference than any other press conference. And then they ended on a high note with a bunch of really solid third-party reveals. And in the middle, it even started off not that bad. Remember, we got the confirmation that Vita TV is being retooled as PlayStation TV and coming to America. That was something we wanted. That was something we asked for. He got the montage of 25 free-to-play titles coming to PlayStation and Vita. That's big news because that's a huge advantage they have as a system is their huge base for free-to-play games. They announced the Project Morpheus and then glossed over it, which was the smartest move. They're like, play it out on the floor. We're not going to talk about it here. But then he was like, and here's TV, and it killed the show.
Well, yeah. I'm not going to give Sean Layden a ton of shit for it.
It was his first one.
I will give
Brian Michael
Bendis. Regardless of whether it was his plan or not, he dominated the stage for 10 minutes.
Talking about
a show that's coming on December that has no cast, no teaser, know anything.
If you were gonna, it's like what we're talking like EA. If you were gonna be up there and talk that long about something, and then walk away with nothing to show, what was the point?
Yeah.
And then waste that much time. Like Sean Layden at least had information we cared about, in a sense. But then whoever greenlit Brian Michael Bendis talking with no like script or timeline.
I think they were
terrible.
I think they were hoping that his geek cred would power him through,
Which
it really didn't.
It did not. Also, he looked awful.
Well, that's
like I mean that's neither here nor there. But the problem is, it was such a big deal that 10 minutes that it still overshadows the greatness.
It completely derailed
before.
the entire conference.
It overshadowed the greatness before and soured what came after.
Yeah.
Because we were just put in a bad mood. It was like that year with Wonder Book.
Yeah.
We were just like, why? Why, Sony? Why did you not learn anything from last year? I love you. You're my favorite platform right now. And you hurt me. Right here. Really?
Yeah, get over it.
Yeah, I know. But if I'm not complaining on the internet, then what good is being a nerd?
A good point.
Yeah, thank you.
What's the next thing?
The next segment is Nintendo's press conference, or press conference. If
I hesitate to even call it that.
A live stream. Here's the thing. It was probably one of the better ones of the show. Or as I like to call it, the usual suspects, a.k.a. how to maintain the status quo.
I guess. I mean,
it is what it is. It's Nintendo. Nintendo's conference did the thing we always expect from a Nintendo conference. It made fans of Nintendo happy and did nothing to change the minds of people who aren't fans of Nintendo.
Yeah. Almost entirely that.
That is exactly, in a nutshell, what Nintendo's conference is.
But is it enough anymore? They've had their first really bad year. Maybe they should do
and
anything.
That's the problem. From a business perspective, is it enough to change it around? We don't know. However, things have been turning up. With the release of Mario Kart 8, sales have shot up, I think they said 800% or 200%. Something crazy.
Well, 80 to 0 is a huge increase.
I know. But the question is, can it sustain it until these other games come out? Because when you really look at it, and our objective, the Wii U has the best lineup at the moment of all three systems in terms of exclusive content.
Yeah.
It does. It's a fact. The problem is, games like Kirby's Rainbow Curse and Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker and Yoshi Woolly World and Mario Maker and all these games that are coming out next year, with the exception of the Toad game. And then Super Smash Bros. Getting 3 reveals throughout the show of characters, but still no release date. And the fact that the 3DS one got delayed makes me think that the Wii U one is even further pushed back now. But then they got big news, like they debuted 3 Miyamoto prototypes that will be developed into games, one of which is the return of Star Fox coming next year. We got the announcement that Itagaki, the creator of Ninja Gaiden, his new game that was in limbo, Devil's Third, is joining Bayonetta 2 as a Wii U exclusive. They showed a really hype indie reel. They showed Hyrule Warriors, which doesn't do anything for you, but the friends of ours loved it.
Sure.
And that's big because... And they showed Zelda, not actual gameplay, but it showed the concept and the in-game engine. And for a lot of people, that's enough. Is it enough to sell units?
No.
You don't think?
I don't. I think Smash might be. I think Mario Kart maybe, but...
No, Mario Kart's proven that it is. Mario Kart is moving systems.
Okay, but I still am not convinced.
Here's the thing. If we end this year and we've gotten Mario, Zelda on the way, and Smash Brothers, and it's still not improved, if Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, and Zelda don't do it, nothing will. Until they hit that magical Wii Sports, Wii Fit moment that captures a new audience. I think as it is, Wii U is going to be the Nintendo system of classic eras, whereas we have it as the secondary system to supplement the other system that gets all the other games.
Oh.
And then you turn on your Wii U when that Nintendo game finally hits. I just don't think that they can become the primary system for most people anymore.
I really doubt it.
But that's Nintendo. The next subject we're going to talk about is called MIA, the games that did not show at E3 for whatever reason, speculate as you will. The games that should have shown up in some capacity that were either rumored or there's no real reason why it wasn't going to be. So I'm going to read the list off, the ones that we gathered, and then we'll discuss, start talking about one that you are thinking of.
Okay.
So the list you weren't there, you were at work, but Andy, Garrett, and I came up with was Prince of Persia was supposed to be at Ubisoft, along with the surprising absence of Assassin's Creed Comet, the PS3 360 version of Assassin's Creed, the continued absence of Beyond Good and Evil 2, Sony's absence of The Last Guardian, I know, insert joke here, Killstrain, which was the new IP debuted alongside Entwined and Bloodborne, which both were shown, and the most notably, Drive Club, a game that comes out in 4 months, wasn't on Sony's conference, which was it was on the floor, but it wasn't at the conference, so that's weird. And then Microsoft not showing any Halo 5, which means that it might be much further back in 2015 than we thought. As well as having nothing, no teaser trailer or anything for the new Gears of War game by Black Tusk Studios. That was surprising. And joining Last Guardian and Beyond Good and Evil as a game that people have been like, oh, it's going to be this time. Fallout 4. Or whatever the new Fallout game is going to be. That was another game that people were like, oh, again? And then they got all butthurt.
Suckers. The only one I'm surprised didn't show up was Prince of Persia. All the others I didn't expect to hear anything from.
Really?
No.
Not even the Assassin's Creed that was announced with Unity?
See, that always seemed really fishy to me. So I always assumed that they would push the next gen way more than that one.
And I agree. And the theory that Andy and I were running was that they wanted E3 to be the focus of the next gen co-op one, the big one, the one that they want to sell.
The one that their big horse.
And then at Gamescom, which is the European E3, and Ubisoft is a European company, they'll show the other one. And by that time, the hype for Unity would have had a whole month to build up and hit a crescendo.
Ideally.
And then if Last Guardian still exists, it'll be a Tokyo Game Show reveal. Also absent, but we knew were going to be absent, Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3. That's going to be either a separate Square Enix show or a Tokyo Game Show thing.
Yeah, but...
Was there any game that I didn't say that you were hoping to get some hint of?
Not really. I mean, everything that I was expecting was announced in either teaser trailer or gameplay.
Oh, also Quantum Break, but again, like Square Enix's game, they announced that it was going to be Gamescom.
Yeah.
And it's hard to count that if they announced ahead of time it's not going to be there. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, E3's got this weird thing. You know, we're debating the quality of games based purely on whether they show up at this thing or not.
Right, and not only that, but E3 is designed to build hype. These trailers are designed to show the best. They're very rarely indicative of the actual game. So it's kind of hard to get really excited about something when you know that you're being lied to, and yet you still can't stop yourself from getting excited about it.
Yep.
So
that's true.
Really?
It is.
Thanks for that sizzling input there.
No problem.
So what it really boils down to is 2014. If last year was the year of Luigi, then 2014, I'm calling it, is the year of 2015. Because every major game is either delayed or announced for 2015. We have a handful of titles coming out this year, and they're all in October.
October
is getting Assassin's Creed Unity, Evolve, Sunset Overdrive, Battlefield Hardline, the new Pokemon game. It's getting Hyrule Warriors. It's getting the what were the other games that were coming out? There's a major game every week, and then they kept announcing more games for October.
They announced so many I can't keep track.
Yeah, there's so many coming out in October. But what about September has Destiny, and November has Call of Duty
and Far Cry.
I thought that's November.
I thought
or October.
I don't know.
It's this year.
It's in the fall.
Then the list of major games that got delayed: The Order, Quantum Break, Batman: Arkham Knight, The Witcher 3, Drive Club got delayed from January to October. Destiny got delayed from March to September. There was other games that got delayed in 2015, and they keep getting delayed. And then all these other major games that got announced, like practically every major news from Microsoft and Sony's Bloodborne, Let It Die, Mortal Kombat 10, the Grand Theft Auto thing, Halo 5, Fable Legends, just whatever game you want to announce. Almost every major Nintendo game, Splatoon, Kirby, Yoshi, all that is next year. Like very few games they announced that were announced are like also this year. The only two that come to mind are Sony saying Little Big Planet 3 is this November, and Nintendo saying Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker is this November. I mean, everything else that we didn't already know is next year. It really puts a damper on 2014 as a whole.
Yep. Sucks for us living in the present.
It does. Future me is going to love life. 2015 might go down as one of the biggest.
Unless they have anything to play 2016.
I mean, some will, but still, like it's crazy.
Like the Order.
The Order?
2016.
They changed the name from Order 1886 to Order 2016.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then finally, we're going to wrap this up by hitting you with our personal top 10 games of E3 based solely on nothing but the fact of what we saw and our personal hype levels of it.
Yes.
So why don't you go first, Chris?
I will, thank you.
Harumph.
I have a couple of ties in here as well.
I have honorable mentions.
Well, I didn't go that far. First of all, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Smart grenades.
Which I don't like Call of Duty.
You mean, someone put a great name there, like, you mean Call of Duty ODST?
Yeah. I don't like Call of Duty. I haven't liked it for a long time. But
I think the last one you bought and played was Modern Warfare 2.
God, yeah, that was ages ago.
Yeah, that was literally like 5 years ago.
Anyway, but I'm intrigued by the future world they've set up with their grenades and all their tech.
And cyber suits and jump boots
and
hover bikes.
Although
and Kevin Spacey's.
Whatever. Although their trailers, in the interest of time, is starting to really get on my last goddamn
Oh, you know what?
nerve.
No, that is we had this discussion.
No.
It is their thing.
It's dumb.
You're dumb.
Fine, I don't care. I'll be dumb all day. They're dumber.
Dumb and Dumber 2.
Hell with that movie. Witcher 3 looks beautifully violent and gory. I look forward to finally playing a Witcher game because I never made it past Witcher 2 on the Xbox because it had a couple issues. So Division still looks good. Division looks very sleek. Although I expect that one to come out.
Matt Lees of Abridged fame calls it the shit Christmas simulator.
That's true.
The worst Christmas of all time.
Far Cry 4 is my all-time favorite.
God, it was so good.
Because it looks great, and elephants
the tuk-tuk
will fight for you. I hate the tuk-tuk.
What about wingsuits and grappling hooks?
Whatever.
You're basically Batman.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
You can glide, and you can grapple, and you can ride elephants and trample people.
No Man's Sky. Super rad indie game where you can fly through an infinite galaxy of planets, land on every planet, and
do whatever.
Who
knows what you actually do? But goddamn, if that.
Goddamn, I don't care.
You know what? Yeah. Keep going.
Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Yeah. Although I saw the full trailer online.
Oh,
that's a good trailer.
It is. It is violent.
That's real good. I have a tie here between Splatoon for the Wii U, which I don't have a Wii U and I don't plan on getting a Wii U. But I don't know if I'm coming over for that. But it's nice.
You're gonna come over for Splatoon night.
It's neat. It's a neat idea and it's something new.
It's actually a new IP from Nintendo, which is phenomenal.
It is also tied with PGA Tour 14, not for the actual golf part, but for the golf part that goes insane and has battleships crashing through islands. You're
trying to play golf and there's explosions in battleships.
Which is radical.
It's like Michael Bay decided to direct Happy Gilmore or something.
Yes.
It was ridiculous.
Yes. Sunset Overdrive, which is probably the game of the show. I think unequivocally, I think it wowed the most people, and has got me really looking at Xbox Ones.
And if that's not what the whole point of it is, that's the big deal.
Rainbow Six Siege.
I'm trying to think of a clever name for it, but I can't.
There isn't. Just let it go. It looks fun. Squad-based, 5v5, one kill, one shot. It could fill a really strong niche that doesn't exist in modern shooters.
Yeah.
And then my final one is a tie between two games that I don't know anything about, but they intrigue me.
Okay.
The first one is Cuphead.
Yeah.
Which is an indie game that takes place in a 1930s cartoon. And looks...
A Steamboat Willie style 1930s animated
like a Disney
game.
cartoon. And it's in that art style, and it looks
But it plays like a Mega Man game.
It looks fascinating.
Oh.
It's so fascinating, I don't even care that it looks like a Mega Man. I just don't. And the final one, Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha.
DLC for Dead Rising 3 with the best name of all time. Drop a mic, son.
There's nothing else to say. That's it.
Okay. Alright, and my top 10... Oh, although, can I say how sad it is that entire Dead Rising trailer with every Capcom franchise ever, no Mega Man?
Yeah. Well, Capcom doesn't like Mega Man.
I know. Alright, so my top 10...
They're dead.
Starting from number 10, Splatoon. Because not only was it a new IP and something to get really excited for, but it generally looks fun. It's a 4-on-4 squad-based shooter by Nintendo that uses... It's basically like squids using paintballs. And it's a really fun game. It has like a Team Fortress 2 vibe to it almost. Number 9, I have Bloodborne, which is the spiritual sequel to Demon's Souls on PS4. It's lower on the list than the rest of the internet would ever accept, because the internet...
You're not a real gamer.
The internet is in love with this game to no end.
Considering that we've only seen one thing for it.
And while I know it'll be good because it's the original creator of the franchise and From Software and the A-Team working on it, I haven't seen enough to put it higher. So it's number 9. Number 8 is Smash Bros. Wii U. It's lower on the list because we got the... Nothing was going to be hyper than the reveal of Mega Man last year. Nothing. And literally nothing has changed since last year. There's still Smash Bros. On Wii U. We got new characters. It still has me excited. I doubt it's this year, though. I'll be surprised.
The best thing was the anime.
Oh, the anime we'll never get, ever?
Yeah.
God. Damn you, Nintendo. Teasing me again with something I never got. Number 7, No Man's Sky, like Chris said. It reminds me of Spore, not in the sense that I think it'll be a letdown, but the sense of it hits you with that sense of wonder and just infinite possibilities, and it looks absolutely incredible.
It's so ambitious that you have to wonder, is it any good?
It's gonna out Star Trek.
Out Star Wars.
No way.
Yeah.
There's no emo-ness in it.
You don't know.
I don't know. Number 6 is The Division. Again, lower on the list than last year. I believe I put it as my game of show last year. Because it's just, while it is still phenomenal, it's just more of it. Like, it is just a solid showing of a game I'm chomping at the bit for, but all they did was show more of the same. Number 5, I have Far Cry 4, which I am legit hyped for to no end now. Not only that, but if you buy it on the PlayStation 4, a friend that does not own the game can join you in co-op and play the game with you. Going back to the old style on the DS, or where you could share games with friends and then play it, and then the idea is they love it so much they go out and buy it. But it's such a cool concept on the PlayStation 4 that you can invite friends in to basically test the game, and not a demo, play the full game with you, but then when you stop playing, they stop playing. It's a really, and the game just looks great and has the best villain of the show. That game was awesome. Oh yeah, my honorable mentions: Batman: Arkham Knight and Rainbow Six Siege. HM, you're not gonna do that for me?
No.
Yeah, okay. So number 4, I have something.
Can you not read your own writing?
I can. Destiny. Destiny's number
There it
4.
is.
Again, lower on the list than last year because it's been a full year, and I just want it to come out already. We saw it all last year. We got more stuff, and we got into the alpha, so that's fun. We'll finally get to play it. The beta's later this summer, but I just want to play the game. Let me. We do know that it has the worst commentator voice ever online.
It's very laconic.
Oh. Number 3, Little Big Planet 3. Follow-up to one of my all-time favorite franchises of last generation. Bringing with us 4 new friends that are so adorable that if Sony does not make plush toys of them, they're stupid. because the kids love the plushes.
Yep.
Sackboy and Swoop. Caw. And Toggle. I don't know what Toggle would be.
Toggle.
And then Odd Sock. And Sackboy. And Sackgirl. And Little Big Planet. And it looks more the same, but in Little Big Planet's case, that is literally the best. And everything from Little Big Planet 1 and 2 carries over to 3. Every DLC, all the content people have made over the past 6 years, all carries over.
All the costumes you may have bought for your Little Big Planet.
I bought every single one, and I'm both ashamed and proud of that fact. I own all of it. Even the 20-something World Cup FIFA ones that you just put out.
Why would you do that?
Because what
you
if
don't like the World Cup?
I don't at all.
Why would you do that?
Because I can now dress up Sackboy as a Norwegian flag.
Why?
Because what if I want to?
Well, why would you ever want to?
It's me.
You don't.
Why does this surprise you?
I'm not. I'm just yelling at you because it's dumb.
It is, and in that regard, I fully admit it. And there's nothing you can do, Chris.
There
isn't.
isn't.
A thing. Little Media Molecule has me by the short hairs, and they're like, it doesn't matter what we put out, you're gonna buy it, you bastard. And yes, I am.
Yeah.
I have no willpower.
You're a damn sucker.
I am, and I know it.
All right.
I am a self-proclaimed consumer whore, but at least I am self-aware enough about it. I'm not in denial.
That's good to
That's
know,
something,
I guess.
right? Number 2 is The Witcher 3. Even though we also saw it last year, we got pure gameplay this year. That's the difference. And it looks as good as we ever could have hoped. It matches up with the trailers. It looks incredibly epic. It looks expansive as hell. This was my most sad delay. All the other delays of 2015, Witcher was the biggest. And then number 1. Drum roll.
No.
Give me a drum roll.
No.
Come on.
No. Do your own damn drum roll.
I just did.
Good.
Sunset Overdrive. Game of the show. It's Insomniac, my Ratchet and Clank boys. They're bringing the Ratchet and Clank sensibilities to a Jet Set Radio style gameplay mechanic meets Crackdown 2. It's got the humor. It's got more humor. It's got a great design and color scheme. It's going to have 8-player co-op. It's everything I could have hoped for. And if I didn't already have an Xbox One, I would have bought one for that game. It is that kind of game. Sunset Overdrive is the shizzle, and I hope nothing but success for it. But knowing the more I like something, the less commercially viable it is. That was weird. I just lost a light bulb in real time. The more the more I love something, the less commercially viable it seems to be.
Well, yeah.
Like in anything. If I love a movie, it's not going to do well in theaters. If I love a game, it's going to sell like crap. If I love a song, it's because I'm terrible at taste in music. But, I mean, that's a fact.
That's for sure.
So yeah, that's my top 10. And that's our brief recap of the entirety of E3. If you have questions or comments, you want to tell us we're wrong or that we missed something, because we probably did, hit us up at the link. That's not my penis. It's probably going to be down here on the screen somewhere. There's a subscribe button next to it.
Have you seen YouTube videos? You know where everything is.
I don't, actually.
Do not look.
It's below something. It's down in this region. Click link, click subscribe and like or whatever it is. We're really bad with YouTube, guys. Hit us up with some comments. Share us with your friends. Let us know that we're super cool and stoke this ego.
Yeah, that's going to help us know we're super cool by begging for people to tell us we're super cool.
Hey, that's the legit sign of someone being super cool.
That's going around carrying a hug me sign or a free hug sign.
I know.
If you know, then why'd you do it?
Because maybe it'll work.
It never works.
You don't know.
You're that sad guy on Tumblr. We know.
Oh.
Yeah, you are.
All right, so I drew a Triforce on my hand, and Chris has a Triforce not on his hand because he won't let me draw it, but we're going to end it by joining together in a BroFORCE. Seriously?
No, I don't want to.
BroFORCE me!
No, get out of here. No, don't bite. What's wrong with you?
BroFORCE!
That's not a BroFORCE.
It's a BroFORCE.
Doesn't count.
It happened.
It didn't happen.
It touched.
No, it didn't.
Sorry. It's a thing now.
No, it's not.
You know what? Done. I did it. Success.
Whatever.
I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And we're the NOLAnerds, and this has been the E3 2014 presentation.
And I'm disgusted.
BroFORCE.
Caw-caw!